I want to tell you a little bit about the vision for this particular book. Now, I have known since childhood that I had an insecurity problem. I wonder if anybody else has known that from childhood. It probably does not help that I had the worst buck teeth in the free world. It might also not have helped that by the time I was 10 years old, my nose was half my body weight. That did not help. It did not help that I was raised in the time when we wore fishnet hose that my mother did relent and allow me to wear to school, but she would not yet let me shave my legs. So you can imagine what that picture looked like. So there perhaps were all sorts of reasons. My mother, I was the only blonde in a family full of brunettes, and she began to baptize my hair in bleach by the time I was in the 3rd grade, and it did not always go well, so that probably also added to my insecurity. And on a much more serious note, from the time I was a little girl, I fell victim to abuse. And all of these things together, from the profound to the ridiculous, just came into one big clot of insecurity. But here's the wild thing about it. By the time I was writing Breaking Free, and certainly, and for those of you who are unfamiliar with that, and many of you will be, that is an in-depth Bible study. My true calling and the heart of what I feel God leads me to do is write in-depth Bible studies. That's my greatest delight, and that one is my particular road to freedom from such bondage, just to all manner of stronghold, whether it's just sin or fear or insecurity. I just was riddled with it. And even by the time I was certainly doing the revision, I was very aware that I had a stronghold of insecurity that I so much wanted to be freed from. What I did not realize was that everything else I had battled, and I tell you, God had empowered me to see many foes come tumbling down in His name through that process. I have a background of addiction that I'm not even tempted by anymore. And just so that you'll be set free when I say that to you, believe you me, I was for a long time. But in the steadfastness of the Spirit, it's no longer a problem to me. I'm so thankful to be able to tell you. And I had relational difficulties and all sorts of just some codependent issues I needed to get over, all sorts of things. But it never quite hit me that all of them were coming from a common root of insecurity. That I had never gotten down to the one thing, that I'd touched on it many times, but we'd never pulled it up by the roots. And that was something I came to face to face with only a couple of years ago, when I thought, you know what, I'm not going to die with this thing here. I'm not going to. I'm going to be free from this if it kills me and everybody around me. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Just that desperation. I'm not going to carry this to the grave. I have no intention of doing that. And, you know, every new season has a new opportunity for a person already riddled with insecurity to be more insecure. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter if you're 17 or if you are 57 or you are 67. Life just gives us one opportunity after another. That if we're going to continue to let the enemy of our souls trip us up and trap us with insecurity, it's going to be a miserable ride. And I just got tired of it. And I thought, Angie, what I have not done is ever taken it on all by its wicked self. That I thought, we're going to face this one thing. And what you will not see in the book, in the very first chapter of it, because we took it out by the time we went to do final edits on it and publish it. But I actually wrote it having no idea if it would ever finish and go on the shelf. What I said to you in the very first chapter is, listen, if this doesn't do me any good, I promise you I won't publish it. Which is a funny thought to me now, because like you would never have known. But it meant something to me for you to know I'm not just going to drag you along on this if it's not going to do any good. And if I do not feel a measurable amount of freedom from chronic insecurity, then forget it. I don't want to just talk to myself, and I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time. Now let's get the question out of the way quickly. Does everybody struggle with insecurity? Yes. Yes. What we're talking about is unloading ourselves through the power of Christ of chronic insecurity. Because I might have insecurity about something, but it doesn't stop me from doing what God has called me to do, praise His name. I might have a moment where it creeps up in the back of my head that I've got the temptation to go with it or not, but I decide to shake my head to it and go forward without it. We're going to always have temptations for insecurity, but we very much have the privilege and the power through the Holy Spirit to be free of the albatross of chronic insecurity. You can bet your life on that because Christ gave His life for that.